Yeah, good evening, everyone. This is Robert Stevenson, Chairman of the School Committee. It is 6:01 on Monday, December the 2nd. I'm looking to open the Sussex County Granville Regional School District School Committee meeting for this evening. Can I get a motion to open the meeting?
So. Second.
All in favor? And let the record show the motion passes 5-0-0. Can I get everybody to stand for the pledge of allegiance, please? I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have consent agenda tonight. We get some home education proposals in the minutes from 11/18. You got anything on that? We got a couple warrants. I think there's 4 or 5 there. We need to get signed. Superintendent Willard, do we have any correspondence tonight? Do not. Oh. Okay. Now, for the most exciting part of the meeting, Magnolia, it's all you.
All right, so last Wednesday on the half day, we had a pep rally. The students were really happy with it. They loved it. The seniors were able to find out who got what superlative.
Really?
Yes, I got most likely to save the environment. Ms. Shore actually brought up that, we created a huge mess, but we all cleaned it up together. She said it was the most spotless it might have ever been when we left. It was true. We had like, I think 10-15 minutes before we all left, so we were all cleaning up the hallways and everything. And helped out student council by taking down our decorations. Seniors also won the most yearbooks bought contest, and we got a donut social earlier that morning. All the extra donuts went to staff who were able to get there. The drama club did a superb job with their fall production of 12 Angry Jurors. They worked really hard. The play actually had limited breaks, so they really worked on their memorization skills. They also announced on the last night of the play that the spring musical will be Anastasia. They're meeting this Wednesday to discuss audition materials. And NHS is beginning to collect the donations for the holiday toy drives and the giving tree. Chapter advisor Mrs. Margiotta's room is full of gifts, and the NHS students will be helping to organize those before they get picked up, I think, at the end of the week. We're having the Gear Up for College this week. Students can get an instant decision from participating schools that they've already applied to. This week, surveys will go out to families, students, and faculty to complete, to gather feedback towards our self-reflection. The survey responses go directly to the NEASC, and they will generate a report that will then get sent to the school. The fall sports celebration was a great success. Yearbook had all of the clubs down at the auditorium today to get their group photos done. 8th grade has a visit to CTEC on Tuesday. The winter band and chorus concert is on December 10th at 6:30. From 12:12 to 12:13, around 23 selected student leaders will be participating in an Addressing Hate in Schools training provided by the Northeastern Center for Hate and Sports. The Drama Club has a trip to Broadway in New York City on the 18th to see Back to the Future the musical. The high schools plan to do a festive/ugly sweater day on December 19th, and winter sports officially started today.
Ooh, yeah, play triumphs tonight.
Yeah.
And I heard that there might have been a controversy with respect to what grade 1.
I hear
I heard there was some skeptical, there was some counting irregularities or something about whether the juniors won.
1 second, they had 20 points, and then once the juniors won, the juniors automatically got 35 points. And the NHS, only the juniors from NHS got a shout out. The chairs didn't. I did my work.
I got on a good authority that the seniors were upset that they didn't. Now, the funny thing was that the seniors always win. They're supposed to make it that the seniors win. I said, whoa.
That's how it happens every year.
But yeah, I heard that there was, I got a,
Oh,
I had a senior that was upset that they didn't win.
oh yeah, we were not happy. They let us leave first, but still, didn't make up for it.
And, okay, so is there been a year where the seniors don't win the most yearbooks bought? Cause if that happens, that's pretty sad.
This is the first time they've had that contest. But usually it's the seniors who are in student council who are like president and secretary and stuff. But for whatever reason, they weren't in charge this year, so the juniors were in it, so they decided to cheat. Anyways,
That's quite an allegation. We've got that on tape.
We'll get them
too,
next
so-
time.
We'll get them next time. All right, well, perfect. Thank you very
And they'll
much.
win again next year.
Yeah, they're gonna work it so that they win next year too. So
Back next year.
what you guys need to do is help sophomores win next year, so that they'll be winning.
I'm sure they'll figure it out on their own.
All right. Awesome. Oh, look. What slides do we have up here? Cause I'm up with this athletic master plan. Do we have any slides or no? Okay, good. This is gonna be kind of a quick thing then. I just want to give her, cause you guys sort of asked us what's going on.
Yeah.
So I just want to give everybody an update. John Amato came back, what? Beginning of the year, cause I missed it when he came in. Basically
Yeah.
everything, all the little things that we've talked about. The turf field, the lights for that, the press box, the stands, what we've kind of come up with as a viable option to look at is having the turf field where the lights and the grandstand are sort of on the hill, like at the bottom of the hill, but over enough so that we don't take all the spots for sledding. So that when the snow hits, you can still slide on part of it, right? Because you don't want to take the whole thing out, because that's a nice sliding spot. So that's
Sledding.
sledding, Canadian thing?
I don't know.
I
I
don't
don't
know.
know about Powdermill go sledding, don't get rid of it.
Right, no, I know, so putting that turf field over there, then what John was actually, it was interesting to see is that. We're potentially, if we move forward with this, moving some of the ballpark, like. The ball fields rotating, like actually rotating the orientation of them, because right now, they're actually not set up. In an advantageous orientation at all.
To the
So-
sun.
To the sun, to the whole thing.
Yeah.
These got walking paths on there with the bathrooms set up. I mean, it's quite of an impressive thing. What we can do is I can get, maybe for next meeting, we can get the presentation, get some photocopies of it.
But it's on that thumb drive.
Right, no, I know, but I want to get it to everybody that's not on the grounds committee. Because
Right, that's
we-
what I'm saying, like.
we've got
we
it,
just
so we
throw it
can,
up
we can
there.
get it, we can email it to you guys, so you can take a look at it.
Yeah.
This is not gonna be something that's gonna be ready for this year, you know what I mean, we're not. I was hoping we were gonna be where we are now in September, but we're not. So this is gonna be something that hopefully we can discuss with the towns, put it forward, see what they wanna do, so like not this May coming up, but the following May. Put it on something where it's a proposal that the towns get. We can break this thing up into phases. The total estimation that he put down was somewhere between 9 and 12 million. Which if you look at, well, the school's renovation was 40,
Or more.
more, but then we got.
It's over 7.
Yeah, 76.
Yeah, so I mean, it's now, we're talking the whole, I mean, it's the turf field, the light stuff like that is like 4 to 5. Then moving all the other fields around and getting them all set up to be the right way. That's, I mean, so you're probably talking with all the paths and then the press box and everything. It's a,
And water.
right, there's a whole setup to this. We could break it up into pieces, we could do it all at once. It's certainly probably something we should be looking into. I mean, it was, I do know that it was on the docket during the original school renovation, but they pulled it off because of the overall pricing of the school renovation at that point. It would be something that I think would be an investment for the district. It gives us opportunities that we certainly don't have right now. The biggest thing about potentially putting a turf field in there is it opens up lacrosse. We've got a blossoming lacrosse program that we've started now that we're getting to a point where we're gonna have to allocate field space for it.
So would it
Field hockey
be
would be
an
happy.
additional field, in addition to the current soccer field that's
Well,
there?
the space, so what happens is where that turf field would go,
Mhm.
it messes up. It would be right over top of where varsity field hockey is, right?
Okay,
So that would, then you start getting into the moving parts.
right,
What we might be able to do is, like what we discussed was having one baseball field, one softball field. Having the varsity field hockey would be on the turf field, varsity soccer would be on the turf field, varsity lacrosse would be on the turf field. Then we would need some JV fields for all three of them. Like the current varsity soccer field could be the JV soccer field. We'd have to build a JV field hockey field. Over here, we're looking at having practice fields or something like that. They're one of them, I mean, one of the options are we could potentially save some money if like we had our JV fields here, but then we utilized and leveraged the lit baseball and softball field that are already at Wally Park.
Right.
We've got that. I mean, the neat thing that would be is if we get this all done. And I know I heard that years ago we did that here. We had soccer tournaments here in Sutherland.
Yes, we did.
If we actually do this, you could have two full 11v11s over at Wally. We got one 11v11 at Foisey. We have one, probably 1, 2, 3 we could have here. You could have, that's enough fields to have a tournament. And obviously we can rent. Like the explosion of club soccer out in this western part of Massachusetts. Field space in the evening for those clubs is at a premium. It's
Yeah, we use our Celtic fields for a
Yeah.
good chunk of change.
I mean, they're renting stuff out all the time. That could be a spot that we could rent out and generate revenue. Obviously, the lighting that we could put up there now compared to what's even over at Wally Park now, I mean, almost all the lighting that goes up nowadays is all LED rather than the different bulbs that are over there, so the consumption is a lot less. I mean, look, is this gonna be something that I think is just gonna sail through the towns? No, I think it's gonna need to be a big discussion, but I think from a investment perspective and what it would offer the district, I think it's a good investment and something that we ought to look at. Now, where it ends up, I don't know. I mean, but it's not gonna go anywhere unless we at least, we did what we've almost got done what we wanted to accomplish last year when we put through the proposal for the funds to get us to the point where we can get a presentation.
Okay,
Um,
and do we have a date for when this presentation?
no, not yet. I wanted to talk to you guys first, just to kind of give you an update where we are.
Okay,
John Amato actually reached out to us the other day and said, okay, what do we want to do next? What I'd like to do is have maybe John after Christmas or in the spring, do that presentation as to what the options are. We can open it up to the town and just to kind of give it, hey, this is what all the opportunities are.
Mhm.
And then next year, what we do is we figure out what kind of is the best option for us. We present it to the towns. Do some meetings in between, you know, we can go and do some town meetings at all three towns to kind of go over this with people, so they got questions and answer questions and stuff like that, and then.
so would the first presentation be here at school committee level?
Yeah, we could do that, yeah, we could have John, I mean, what it might be
He's
worth
very
it.
long-winded though.
Yeah,
so
what we
let's
might,
give
what
him
we might
like
wanna
a
do is just have a
direction.
time, say,
Yeah.
okay, John, we're gonna do, we do like a budget roundtable, we can do like a special meeting to just have John come in. And open it up to anybody, and then what we'll do is, that'll be in the spring, and then next year we can have individual town meetings. And kind of just get some input and see where everybody is with this.
And like, I seem to remember that we were gonna do like different options, you know?
Well, yeah, we went down that with John, there's not. You could probably shuffle that around 14 different ways,
Okay.
but it's kind of, if you've got a turf field, you got a baseball field, you got a softball field, it's just trying to plug the spots as to where it goes. It was interesting that if we actually went down the grass route, that it would almost be as expensive because the irrigation and all the stuff that you need to do in order to keep that like in pristine shape, it's almost not as cost effective to do it the other way.
So what are the major problems we're trying to solve? Is it just maintenance, and we have old deteriorating fields? Is it not
Right.
enough space? Is
Water.
it efficiency of
Yeah,
money? What are?
the fields themselves. Outside, you've got the patch there where the varsity field hockey is a semi spot. You've got the varsity soccer field. Now, from a size proportion perspective, that varsity soccer field is on the very minimum side of regulation size. So it's
And there's
not,
nowhere to sit.
yeah, there's nowhere to
Right,
sit,
it's
it's not a great setup. We've got lacrosse that's coming out. We started at a club level, it's now JV level this year, we're looking to continue to make that move. Lacrosse is horrible and I mean, beats the living beats out of grass.
As does field hockey.
Yes, field hockey, they like it
Soccer
when it's
field.
nice and.
Is
thin.
it cheaper to maintain turf than it is grass?
I think
Is
it's,
it a wash?
I think in the long run, it might end up being a little cheaper because it's so, you've gotta put so much work into the grass. And then you've gotta, the problem with the grass fields is you end up getting to a point where you almost need to rest them. You gotta rotate, we just don't have, we don't have this, we don't have the space to do it.
To somewhat
Plus-
rotate them because certain spots will be patchy.
Plus you're on sand,
Yeah,
basically sand.
see, that's the problem.
That's why we're at the rec center, you don't want to see our water bill. Because we have to put in our own pumps,
Yeah.
you know?
They're really nice.
Now, it is nice when it rains, we have dry fields and. Like not very long, I mean, very rarely we're get rained out over there because the water just, it goes right through, but. But I mean, we've got an entire irrigation system over at the rec center, which is why it's the best field in Western Mass. But it's tough, and I mean, look, being able to have I mean, for those people that have gone to night games over, well, I mean, it's cool to be able to have a night game. And I mean, if we've got the turf over here, I think it creates another centerpiece for the town and for the district to be able to have events. It would certainly be great for graduation if you've got stands over there and you've got field that we can go on. I mean, it's not gonna be, I don't know how big that grandstand is, but I know the one we tore down held a lot of people.
But he made pathways, so it was
Oh,
ADA
yeah.
compliant, so that people can get to this, easier. And then he also talked about sealing the track.
Yeah,
Because the
that's gotta
track
get looked
needs to
at, too.
be updated, you know.
Track is new, isn't it?
No, yeah, but
It's-
it's
Yeah.
the track, Eric can probably give a lot more detailed information on that, but it's the track needs to get either there's a resealing on that needs to happen in order to make sure it doesn't degrade and get to a point where we really have a problem. There's some routine maintenance that needs to get done on that track. I mean, look, I'm not looking to have this set up where we get it done, send it to the towns and go, hey, you pay for everything.
Right,
I mean, I think we've got to come up with like a fundraising goal, we come up with, I mean.
No, I mean, I'm just thinking like from the town's perspective.
Yeah.
You know, like what are our issues? Why are we looking into this? What are the problems we're trying to solve and why are we going down this road? And I
Well,
mean,
I mean, the bigger thing is, it's limiting what sports we can get off.
well, and I think that that's important.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, if there's a demand for more sports or more space, or we're not able to accommodate everybody's practice schedules or, you know, game schedules, I think
Well,
that
mean,
that's
we've got issues
important.
on the baseball side where the fields constantly need to get done,
Field hockey is, I have heard so much from the field hockey.
It's horrible.
Yeah.
I play on it, it's so bad.
They wanna play on the soccer field. They wanted to do that when I was in high school.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like the ground setup right there is just not ideal. So this would certainly, it doesn't solve all the problems, but I mean, the whole grounds makeover, I'm sure that a bunch of that is new dirt, new stuff, like for the other fields that are there, so that we've got the ability to keep those going. Yeah, you've got to do an investment in, I mean, when was the last, I mean, other than the track, right? I mean, when was the last time anything was done there? Probably
Since I've been here.
No,
never, so,
When was that project? 2014? Yeah,
like
around
10
there,
years
so it's
ago.
10 years.
yeah,
Yeah,
I feel like it's been 10 years.
yeah.
it was a
So,
long time ago. That's not years. You could have given us.
you got anything else, Mr. Fox?
Yeah, it's a big project. It's gonna be a tough sell. But I think that, you gotta look at the long run.
Yeah.
You know, and I think you are absolutely correct. If you go in there and just say, Jesus, this would be great. Now,
Right,
this is the
Right.
reason why we need it. And you basically, the fields are in tough shape.
Yeah.
On this, because of the soils that are here and the limited money that was spent. Because a lot of things were cut, because the cost of renovating 3 structures was too much. We had to reduce and go back for a second vote.
right,
So, but I think that, we have to look at community preservation funds.
Yeah.
You know, in all three towns.
Yeah.
You know, because they were helpful in the track.
Mhm.
Um,
Well, they're funding a lot of stuff this year though, right? I'm hoping they're still left
well,
over.
let me tell you something. When you have a value of $2 billion in the town of Southwick on our
Yeah.
properties.
Yeah.
And Southwick collects 3%. We're one of the few communities that collects 3%.
Yeah.
That is a ton of money.
Mm.
Ton of money. You know?
Yeah.
So.
I mean, it won't be
So
something.
that money
gets
goes
done.
into this fund?
That. Community preservation's 3% equal, you know, a house is after your first 100,000.
Yeah.
The rest is 3% of that. Goes into community preservation fund. Businesses are from the first dollar, 3%.
Got it.
Okay, so that's collected.
Mhm.
Because we are a 3% community, we also get additional benefits from the state. You know, when we do certain projects, you know, compared to communities that are only 1%, 2%.
Kind of like
things
when
that.
the school project was done and the Massachusetts Building Authority funded it. It's not state money that you're talking about, but it's kind of the same type
Well,
of thing.
we could probably, you could leverage some state money because
Yeah,
what they do is the fees, registry of deeds fees went up. That is because of real estate. That additional money goes into a fund. And if the state votes, they put additional monies into community preservation.
okay.
So the past several years, to keep the program alive. You know, because like I said, most communities either aren't in it or they're 1% or 0.5% or,
Yeah,
you know, they're not 3%. So
You guys don't do it at all.
they fund that additional money
We have
into it.
a small, much small.
Yeah.
I didn't know we did that.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, this is,
Yeah, our
look, this is gonna require help from all three
Yeah,
towns and
Yeah.
everybody.
And we know that there was some donations
Mm-hmm.
for the track.
Yeah, I mean, look, between the three towns, I don't think. I don't think it's. I mean, we haven't figured out an amount, but I would think that, I don't think it's over the edge to say, look, we're gonna fundraise at least 25% of it and then. I don't know
Well,
if you-
my suggestions, after you have a good plan
Yeah,
and you have good reasons for it,
yeah,
I would go for the whole nut.
fundraising.
No, I would go
Oh, for the.
do everything.
Yeah, no, because when we talk.
When you try doing it in stages, it's not gonna
Yeah.
work.
Just get it all done at once.
No.
Yeah,
You know, if you're gonna do it, you get the thumbs up vote
yeah.
and right then and there. You
Mm-hmm.
know,
And there are I am certain there are cost savings. I talked to a company myself at a meeting that I was at, and they can do it for a third of the cost of
Oh,
a third.
is it gonna be the same quality though? That's
Right.
the problem.
Yeah. That's kind of in.
That's good. All right, so yeah, so that's it. I mean, we're moving forward, which is good. But yeah, this is not gonna be ready for prime time this year. This will be something that we can get the presentation in the spring, start talking about it, do a lot of talking to the towns over the fall, have some community meetings, get it ready, so that way by the time we get to this time next year, when we have our budget roundtable, it's included in the potential capital, or would that even be considered capital?
I think it'd be a
it's
special.
a
vote.
special project.
Right,
Yeah.
Right,
yeah,
because you're talking about
Could-
bonding,
right, oh, yeah,
You're not bonding this over 5 years. This would be a 20-year.
oh, yeah,
Right.
we wouldn't do this,
right?
yeah. So. Hopefully we can get everybody on the same page and. The kids that are all
It's all in the presentation.
1 and
of it,
2,
You know,
so.
you gotta have some amazing visuals
Yeah.
and. You know,
So-
kids are always great to
Mhm.
have there.
Yeah, we get some of the young kids.
Yeah, in uniforms.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, that's all I got. Superintendent Willard,
I
you're up.
don't have much because it was Thanksgiving last week. I just want to say, hope you all had Thanksgiving and I'm thankful to work with all of you. So
Hey.
Policies, I got nothing new.
The only thing I wanted to share in your policies is, we, sooner rather than later, because of that MCAS vote, we have to change our graduation policy. To,
Okay.
because it states in it that passing the MCAS is a requirement for graduation. And that's now a violation, so everybody in Massachusetts, I just wanna say we should
So
maybe,
we're gonna just do it at the next meeting and
I
wait
would
the three
wait the
readings and
three.
do all, yeah, everybody okay with that?
Mhm.
All right,
That's
Aaron, can we
this
put,
year.
can we put that on the agenda, Aaron, for next meeting?
Mm-hmm.
We'll put it in under. I don't know. We can put it just under action items.
yeah, and there's still more information that's going to be coming from the state on this, because, we have to decide what, we're going to be using as our criteria for graduation. So let's just get the MCAS one out later and we'll wait for additional guidance, but everyone's getting that out quickly. Like the MCAS one, and then they're gonna wait for further guidance later from the
That's a
state.
good
but
point.
We need to get it out.
Yeah,
like
that's
now.
that's a good point.
All right, that's easy to do.
Okay, sorry.
No, all right, action items.
Move to approve consent agenda items as listed above, recommended.
So.
All in favor of that?
Aye.
Aaron, let the record show the motion passes 5-0.
Move to approve the 24-25 school choice seats, 1 kindergarten and 1 grade 2, recommended.
So.
Want to give us a little background on this? No, I know we had,
2 applications came in and we have room in the grades.
because I don't want anybody voting without a
Oh, no,
background.
oh, no. We
Yeah,
had 2
we-
come in, we looked at the enrollment and we can take them in without a problem.
And this is always good things, right? When
This is
we have
good, this
school
is money,
choices.
yes.
All right, anybody got any questions on this? All right, all in favor? Aaron, let the record show the motion passes 5-0. That's it. I think 2 meeting cumulative time frame is actually not bad. Okay, negotiations. We're currently in negotiations with everybody. Except for the clerical unit, everybody else is at the table. Finance, we have a meeting tomorrow morning.
Mhm.
LPVAC, Eric and I went to the annual meeting.
The auditors meeting.
Yeah, the auditors meeting. OPEB, that lovely OPEB thing came up there.
I was so misinformed on that.
Yeah,
I was under I was under the assumption that that LPVEC was donating or contributing a lot of funds to OPEB, which is their insurance for retirees, and they're not.
the obligations for, they're, I don't know where do you know where we are,
Yeah.
percentage wise?
I don't know, we put $40,000.
Yeah, no, I know, but they're only at 3%. I think we're actually higher than that. So- So the interesting thing is that when I asked the question about, well, who's approving this? The answer I got was, well, this isn't being brought up. And I said,
No.
well, why isn't it being brought up? Well, because, and I'm like, well, I mean, why can't we put this in the budget? And, what's her name?
Not Phyllis, Anna.
Anna Bishop.
Oh, yes.
Anna Bishop was saying, well, I mean, we basically, the towns fund our budget. Well, I'm like, yes and no. I mean, you do have revenue that comes in and you've got expenses that go out. We kind of oversee it, but I'm like, you guys need to keep an eye on this. So what we need to be able to do is
Yeah.
the representatives which in this case would be Eric and I, need to make sure that they're actually putting this in the budget to actually adjust. Because at a certain point, they're gonna run into a major issue if they don't put some of this in.
Well, and our auditors tell us that every year. anyway.
Yeah, and what
we've always been
We've
told
upped what
we
we've
need to
been
keep
doing,
upping it.
yeah,
And I've never heard of this before. I was actually, last year when the auditors came, I was actually, I thought I had learned something cool and I brought it back to the table and I said, they put in $200,000. Like, why can't we do that? And, oh, no,
Well,
no.
they did.
That's how much
they
it has
did, but it was
accrued
10 years ago.
over
Oh.
10 years.
Oh,
Yeah, they haven't
Because
put
they
anything in the
started
last
with like
10 years.
250,000 and now it's at like 450,000. And
It's-
I was completely, when they brought it up this way and they presented it this way this year, I was like, what?
yeah,
I'm like,
it's
wait a
it's
minute,
little
wait a
interesting.
minute. And you know, I can't understand everything about a school, like, I don't know this kind of stuff, and when they said it this time, I was like, oh boy. Wow.
And the nice thing is there was enough of the people, enough of the reps that were there that night, were like, okay, this isn't good.
No.
So we kind of met after and kind of said, okay, take this back to your
And then
committees.
Alvin
And
told me about how, when you guys met, you said, what position are you going to sneak into the budget this year?
He told you guys I said that?
what we would sneak in or what they would sneak in.
I called him right out. And I
Oh.
said,
And they were laughing about
I
it.
said, so what position are you gonna try and sneak into the budget this time that you don't think we're gonna catch?
Oh, okay, yeah.
It's like made him take a position.
That's good.
Need this.
So the most interesting conversation of the night was the electric buses. So I'm still, we are not gonna have any electric buses in Sedgwick Town or Grand, thank
No,
God. They've got X amount of buses that if they put one in, they have to pull one out. So,
So if they put in electric, they have to pull out of gas?
yeah, no, diesel, but yeah.
but
But-
before you ask that, tell them when they're gonna be on the road.
Oh, yeah, they're looking to start this time next year.
In winter time?
Yes,
Well,
yeah, that's gonna be awesome. So I said, do we have like extra buses just in case the 40, but what are we getting, 40?
25.
20, whatever, these electric ones don't work? Well, we've got, now, here's the interesting part. Nobody knows how these things are gonna work long term. But as soon as
Or
they,
even short term.
I know, when they put one in commission, they have to take a diesel one out and they have to destroy the engine.
Of the
They have-
diesel one?
Yeah,
They have to.
so
drill holes in it.
so there's no going back.
right,
No.
Why?
oh, if you go back, you have to buy a new diesel one. Oh, yeah, no, I was.
Who didn't read the red
No,
fine
they
print?
read, well, now, apparently they have a bunch of buses
Yeah, they have.
Apparently
old
they have a
buses
bunch of
are
buses
not
that
in
are old,
service
that are
any
gonna be the
longer.
sacrificial lambs, because
Yeah.
they're really not working anymore.
Okay,
So,
okay.
but the
One
best
of
part
which
is,
caught on fire.
okay.
Okay, that one.
fire one is gonna get destroyed first. So, but they're gonna have them in Wilbraham and West Side, so I'm like, yeah, I said, we're not we're not putting an electric bus up in Tallinn, right? He's like, no, not happening.
Okay.
So we'll see how this goes. I'm not. I mean, they're still getting the charging units put together at the bus garages.
Yeah.
We'll see. I don't. I mean, it's
There's also new software, because they went from something to Transversa or from Transversa. It's where people are supposed to open up their phones and
Oh, yeah.
parents can see where the buses are.
We could do it right now.
Yeah. But it's more than that too, because on the electric buses, you know, they have to train all of the drivers how to drive those electric buses, because you can't put your foot on the gas too fast, you can't, you know, they're super heavy. So you have to, your slowing ratios are much different than they were before.
Interesting.
It's all, yeah, they don't know how they're gonna operate in the cold, so they don't know.
Special training on how to get off the bus fast.
Correct, yes.
And if they ever do go up in flames on the electric
You better
ones, they
get off
don't
that.
stop. You can't put them out.
Right.
Oh, yeah. So we were all kind of,
Bus evacuation. that's a
Yeah,
whole new
So
meaning.
now, but think about it, they're so short in drivers as it is.
My ride app.
And most of their drivers are older, retired people, and they pull them from those pools. Well, those people are not gonna be the drivers that they're looking to put onto the electric bus routes, so now they have to like. Find people to, that they can recruit, so that they can train them, so that they can, yeah, it's. But they're doing it for the press and for the notoriety, because who's watching them? Western or. Somebody's watching them as from like a news perspective.
Oh, no, there's a
and
lot of
so-
other towns in the state that are looking to us
Yeah.
to see how we do.
To
with
see
these
how
things.
we
I'm like, oh, baby.
Sacrificial lamb, like.
I know, I think they said that they've had some in Boston.
Yeah, but
But-
a lot of people are looking to us, so we're
We're
paving the
rural,
way,
Yeah,
yeah.
more of a rural area, right? So they're kind of.
Yep. So this
They
time.
can only go so far, so it'll be. Yeah, no, we're not getting any out here.
No.
So
But
then they,
interesting.
but then like the diesel, they have to destroy the diesel engines, then they have to take them, then they have to ship them.
Oh, yeah.
From
They
there,
can't drive them.
they can't
to where
drive
they
them
need to
there
be.
because they have to destroy the
know,
engines before they
destroy.
leave. So
They have to
it's-
destroy them and then find a way to ship them.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
And how do you ship what,
Bus?
how much does a bus?
And where are
weigh?
they being shipped to?
Boston?
Sometimes,
Yeah.
we could put them on
They
a
have to cut
barge,
the
we
frame.
could put them on a
they have
barge,
to do
send them down to
everything,
New
drill
London, and go
holes
around,
in the ocean,
around that way,
ocean.
around
And the
Cape of
engines,
Boston.
yeah.
Or just drive them and then.
No, you have to
Get
destroy the
there.
engine. Yeah, no. It's a whole.
It's
It
a,
was 25
free
minutes
for
of
all.
pure bliss over
Yeah.
there at the meeting for this.
yeah.
All
And
right,
then Rob got to leave.
yeah, the corporation got to leave early.
I wanna be on the corporation side, not the collaborative side.
Yeah, no. All right, policy. When's our next policy meeting?
And did we adjust the policy meetings to,
Coordinate with our new
coordinate with
meetings.
our Monday, yes.
We switched all those. Did we send that out or we have to vote on, we're in the process of it?
That's next. It's in here, in our packet. The 16th
Oh, you're right.
is our next
Yeah,
policy
we've
one.
got revised. ones,
And
yes.
is the 16th also
Monday.
a Monday? Okay, all right, so let me make sure that I've got that.
I forgot I wrote these tomorrow.
Well, there we go. IoT's tomorrow.
Yes.
All right, so buildings and grounds, we're gonna talk about wellness. There's a lot of people getting sick. That's what I hear. So the wellness committee is
We had wellness.
not doing their job.
We had their first meeting.
That's why everybody's sick.
That like pneumonia, like, I don't know if Southwick did, but Westfield School has got a letter home saying that.
Pertussis?
in
No, it's a
pneumonia.
specific type of.
No, but didn't
Yeah.
we have something? I heard that we were getting, oh,
I don't feel like I got it any.
Well, we did in Westfield and,
Yes, Westfield.
yeah, and pneumonia. My daughter had pneumonia for like
yeah.
4 weeks. We couldn't get rid of it and it was like double
I
lobe.
don't like it.
Yeah, it was awful. And then she got cleared and then got a concussion in the soccer game.
Awesome, great doing.
Sped? Anything in sped?
No,
No, technology
no.
advisory committee, we're gonna go, Pam and I are gonna go next week. We do a special guest appearance,
And what time did you say it was?
5, right? Capital committee, we're getting close to January, Russ.
And we got the team, Carl Steinhardt has agreed to
Oh.
be on it. So we got Doug Mogul, Joe Didi, Russ Fox and Carl Steinhardt.
Oh my God.
We're getting the band back together.
So what is the capital, what's the capital committee gonna be doing?
No. I think.
I think we can get the capital committee to help us on the
Well,
field
I will,
project.
I'm gonna feel them out on it, you know.
I think that's a great idea. Great. Athletics, we gotta get can you, Aaron, can you reach out to Ms. Shorter and see if we can get a athletics meeting together, or just put it in her ear, cause we usually have one now in between, or now we're at the beginning of winter. Legislative liaison is done. Public comment, there's nobody here. Old business.
So I was thinking, it occurred to me as we were meeting, I had a question about, so we haven't discussed it in a while, but we got an email about it a month or so ago about the towns taking on the cost of vocational.
Mhm.
And I was trying to remember like the last discussions that we had with the towns about it, and like if there were next steps that were like, were we gonna have future meetings, and were we supposed to create an MOU, or were we supposed to make a change to the regional agreement, or were we gonna like phase it in like a certain percentage 1 year at a time? Like, I remember there were multiple discussions, and I can't remember where we left off, and then was just kind of caught off guard by like, oh, we're all paying for it now.
Yeah, that's where we left it, was that they
Yeah.
are, and that my job was to figure out how to get the money up and from coming from into our chapter 70 funds to getting it to the 3 towns. So I've been working with Desi on it.
Okay,
I'm gonna read the email, I just printed it today, from, the state. We are all set, ready to go. The chapter 70 money is going to be going to the 3 towns. We don't have to do anything else. It's just what Desi does when, we have a school attending report that comes in and the Sims report that's done on October 1st. They take that information. Amy McLaughlin has already done it accurately. So those kids, when Westfield Technical Academy and Smith, they've always sent it to us by Southwick, by Granville, and by Tolland, and I never quite understood why they did that. They do that so that they know how to bill and when and who to bill. So Southwick will be getting the chapter 70 funding for all of those kids. We don't have to do anything. The money's just, when the cherry sheet comes out in January, you're gonna see a portion of it, like, it's gonna say Southwick, Tolland, Granville Regional School District's gonna get their chapter 70 funding. Then you're gonna see Southwick getting some, Granville getting some, and Tolland getting some.
and so does the money come directly, like, is there like a transfer of funds? Or is
Not in
it
the
just
school.
like
Desi's gonna give you, the state of Massachusetts is gonna send the money to the town.
so it goes right from the state to the town?
And we've already notified Westfield Technical Academy and Smith that they are going to be billing the towns next year.
And the towns are gonna know what the minimum, how do they figure out that minimum local contribution is
That's all.
gonna go to them now? Right.
No, the
They're-
minimum local contribution's not gonna go to them. It's just,
gonna come off
it's
of
gonna
ours.
come off of what they're going to have to pay us.
Right, but don't they get allocated that money that they have to give to those kids anyway then?
Well, no, because they're just not gonna have to give it to us.
Oh, okay. So then they could theoretically take that same money, put it to offset the charge that Smith Folk is gonna send them. So what'll happen is
The towns need to budget.
they already have a minimum local contribution for those kids that they would have been giving to the district.
Mhm.
That amount of money can then go to offset the cost of the kids
Right.
going to their out of district
Mhm.
vocational. And on top of that, they're gonna get chapter 70 funds that they know to never received before, ever.
Right.
So once you add that all up, that fee is not gonna be as large as it actually
Right.
thought it was gonna be. It's
So
gonna be a lot lower.
they'll see the reduction in minimal local contribution in this year's upcoming budget. And they'll get the check for chapter 70 when? Like, when
When-
does that?
That would be a
come?
question for the accountant. I don't do that part of it.
And then, do you know when the school, like, do the schools bill
Quarterly.
quarterly? Okay, so like, and when did the schools?
We
Like,
probably would start in September, right?
well, that's what I'm wondering. I do know what the billing schedule
Yeah, I think we just
is.
paid the first.
Okay. So when do they start billing the towns?
Nowish.
Okay, okay.
So
So
it's
maybe in
just-
October,
Okay, so this goes into effect now, though, for
No, it's
not
gonna-
this
it's-
year.
Okay.
Next year.
for 2020.
This doesn't
No, we've
have-
already paid
Okay.
it.
Yeah,
We're paying
this
this
isn't
year.
going to happen until school fiscal year
Okay,
2026.
all right, that's what, like, I was just trying to get my
Yeah,
No,
timeline.
no, we got it
So
all
what
this year.
happens is
in our
everything
budget.
stays the same until we get to June 30th.
Yep,
Then the next school budget
yep,
is not gonna include the
Yes,
50 kids.
yes,
So what'll end up happening is we will, from a regional district perspective, actually end up with a extra surplus from what we're comparing to now. Because we're gonna keep the chapter 70 funds for those 50 kids, because we're hold harmless. That, well, according to the law,
Yeah,
we will be kept hold harmless. That money stays. The cost for those 50 kids go to the 3 towns.
mhm,
So there will be a delta of about $10,000 per child. According to, unless Boston goes and changes the rules. Then what happens is town of Southwick will get 25 of the kids,
mhm.
town of Granville will get the 25 of the kids-ish, I don't know where they are exactly.
So,
There's none in Tolland. And then they're responsible for the payment of those children.
Yep.
We have 50 kids less. And there end up being extra revenue.
Yep.
On that end, which should be there.
all right, so I got you. I just wanted to,
Makes
like,
sense.
no, what it was, like, the email caught me, like, wait a minute, what year is this starting to happen?
no,
You know,
that's
like,
what
cause
it's
I think the email was like, they're gonna start billing them now, I'm like, wait a minute, I thought that was for.
So pertaining,
Oh, go ahead.
no, pertaining to your question about the regional agreement,
Yeah,
we do not have to change anything in the regional agreement. Because the regional agreement, and the reason that we had to implement this right away, and we didn't do the phased in option because the regional agreement was silent on this. The
right.
only thing that was keeping this in place was the school committee policy
Right,
that went away in 2015.
right,
So that's where this sort of created the problem.
Right.
That in 2014, it clearly stated in one of our policies that the school district would pick up the charge of the out of district vocational coverage. Once that policy got rescinded
mhm,
and it went down the road that it was gonna follow chapter 74,
right,
we should have,
right,
as a district,
right.
did what we did
So there's
last
nothing-
year.
There's nothing that needs to get changed documentary.
No, well, I mean,
wise.
there doesn't have to. My recommendation last year, and I still think my recommendation would be, is that in order to avoid this getting messed up down the road,
Mhm,
is I think it would be prudent for us to ask for the regional agreement to be clarified, to indicate that the towns are responsible for the out of district vocational kids that reside in their communities. It doesn't change anything, it just makes it
just
more
clarifies.
permanent, and it would be, because right now. I mean, I don't think it would ever happen anyway, but I mean. 10 years from now, if the school committee decides to change the policy. And indicate that the district would then resume. Picking up the out of district vocational school charges for the 3 towns. Then it's back to where we were in 2014. I don't think. I mean, I'll speak for the town of Southwick as a representative from Southwick. I don't think the town of Southwick wants that to happen again. And I don't think it would make sense for Tallinn I mean, it's. This is the way the law is broken it up. We should probably protect all 3 towns and have the regional agreement updated to do that. In order to do that, though, we have to put it to the towns, put it to a vote, and they have to vote to updating the regional agreement. It doesn't change what we're gonna have to do, it just makes it cleaner down the line.
So Desi knows what our regional agreement is, and Desi also knows what we're doing this year, and
Okay.
we're fine.
Okay, okay,
Yeah, they were,
I mean, they just had to change things on their end to make sure that, and by the end of January, you'll know the delta of what you should, like, past few years, our minimum local contribution from the 3 towns has gone up about $500,000. So we'll know by the end of January when the cherry sheets come out, 1, you'll know what your chapter 78 is going to be. And 2, you'll know what you're going to have to pay as an increase. And that way you guys can plan accordingly in your town's budgets for the out of district vocational. Because it will be an expense.
what were we saying?
and the chapter 70 is based on the number of kids in school this year, so like
Yes.
this year's October Sims.
Yes.
But then they're gonna bill next year for whoever's this, so there's a little bit that, it's not like
Always.
kid per kid, right?
It's-
I
It's
got
gonna
you.
be
Still-
always a year behind.
Yeah.
You'll still run into the same setup. Where you get. The towns will now have a hold harmless. Setup as well, right? Like, let's say you've got. Oh, why wouldn't you? If you have 25 kids in Granville this year, and then let's say 4 years from now, you've only got 4.
Mhm.
The hold harmless setup is that you're getting paid for 25, you're not getting paid for less. Right?
So this year, they're calling it Project 211. There's 211 districts that are in hold harmless, and that has never happened before. Due to the inflation rates. So there's a big push right now to increase the minimum per pupil. Remember, it used to be 30
Yeah.
and 60, they're really pushing it to be like 150. increase per child. So,
To reduce the number?
no, because
To try
so
to
many
offset
people
this
have been
loss.
affected by hold harmless this year.
Okay.
And now, it wasn't when it was just us, and the only, now that there's 211 districts. Woo! We're all up in arms, and everybody else is getting SOA money, so like,
Right.
it's becoming the state of the haves and the have-nots. When it comes to state money. So they're pushing for a greater per pupil expenditure and, which is the only thing you get when you're in full harmless. Is that money per child.
But that's where, and I think where they're trying to even this out is, we talked about this before. This is why they keep bumping up the minimum local contribution so much, is that they know that districts that are in home farms or whatever, they're trying to offset that SOA money. So we're not getting any more money in the pure per pupil. We're getting extra money from the towns because they keep
In the per
cranking.
pupil,
Right.
That's
but-
it.
Right, but they're offsetting it.
With
They're-
town money.
Right, that's the problem. They're doing it
Oh,
through
yeah.
town money instead of state money. And we're getting, well, it hurts us. It hurts rural communities like us.
Well, 7 communities get the bulk of the money,
Yeah,
and the rest of us are.
right,
Second
exactly.
win.
We get nothing, so.
With being in full harmless, we are one of the biggest recipients of full harmless money. I heard about
4 million.
4.
Well, it keeps going down though.
Every year it's going to go down.
Right, because
Until
it
it's
keeps,
eventually
until it
gone.
gets, what happens is our costs keep going up, right? The
Yeah.
hold harmless stays there. But the minimum local contribution goes up, so it's. It's like a house of cards. You just hoping it doesn't get burned. So. All right. What do we got for
New business.
new business? We got one thing on there, right? 2 things. Special school, oh, 12-4. Our,
Wednesday.
yeah, we're gonna have. This is before the budget roundtable, right? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna have a quick little 15-minute meeting. Here before, where's the budget roundtable? Is gonna be in the cafeteria or the
Yeah,
library? All right, so we're gonna have a 15-minute meeting here. We're gonna have representatives from the 3 towns here. There's a statutory requirement, right?
Very good.
Statutory requirement that during Unit A negotiations, that towns have the opportunity to have a representative in the negotiating committee. Since we've got 3 towns, a regional agreement, they still only allowed to have 1. But what we could do, we're gonna have them sort of get together, figure out who they want. And then we as a committee will vote to include them in the negotiating committee. We did have a successful setup where there are allowed to be silent observers in our negotiation. So if we do have a town or 2 that want to have somebody, and they can still participate if they would like to. We've got some open spots that we can fill with that. So,
We just need their names in advance.
right.
I mean,
Yeah, they can't just show up. We'd want to have, if they want to come, then that's great. Let's have them come regularly. So that they know what's going on. That's what we're gonna do. I don't know whether it was 4 years ago or not, because I wasn't committee at that point, but we're gonna do it statutorily correct this year. And then we've got a revised 2024. Or whoa, 25 would be right. This is busy for after. For the remaining part of this year, we've adjusted the dates to Mondays. So we've got that'll go out. We don't have to vote on that, right?
Mhm.
Okay. Anybody got any questions on that?
So special school committee meeting 5:15, is that right? And budget hearing 5:30? And library, where are we?
We're gonna be here at 5:15, 5:30 in the library.
Here at 5:15? And do the town representatives know the locations? Yes.
Do we, I have, maybe this is a silly question. Why do we need it since it's a public, it's not an executive session meeting, right? Okay, so why can't we just have it in the library? Just a public, 15-minute public meeting. Oh, okay, all right, that's fine. We can do that. It'll go by quicker this way. We're gonna have to record it anyway. Right? We'll record it and, or no, well, that will be all in.
This will be in the library.
All right, well, then we'll have a quick public meeting. That won't be recorded. Actually. All right, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All right, all in favor? Aaron, the record show, Erica, you in favor of that?
Oh, yes.
Very good. Aaron, let the record show that it passes 5-0. Thank you, everybody.
Aaron, I want to stay along.